Would I buy another Harley Davidson? Are they still a good buy? Watch this video. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're all well. Very quick video here is, well, question I get asked again on email, people asking me questions, and they're probing, quite rightly so, asking questions, always welcome questions. But people are saying, well, you know, all your views about Harley Davidson and everything, and we know you got a Harley, you know you got a Sport Glide, but would you buy another one? And the simple answer to this is, well, it really depends what I'm feeling at the time. There's some Harleys that I really like, there are others that I don't like. I would be loath to put my money down on a brand new Harley Davidson. And it's not just Harley Davidson. It could be a brand new BMW or a brand new Triumph or a brand new Kawasaki or whatever it is, because I just got a bit of a problem, I suppose, with the cost of these brand new motorcycles. Now, it's not to say that I wouldn't, but right now I'm just, and also I've got you know, pressures on my finances being pulled in different directions as well, so I couldn't really justify a brand new motorcycle right now. That's not to say in a couple of years' time things change and I would go that way. But would I buy another Harley Davidson? Well, yeah, I would. And again, it really depends at the time what models are available. Would I go brand new? Most likely, I would go into the used bike market more so, because I think there's great value in some Harley Davidsons, whilst they retain their value probably a lot better. And you got to pick and choose exactly where you buy them from, and the right timing and everything. But there are some great deals out there. And you could always find low mileage examples for a few £1,000s, dollars, shekels, less than a brand new one would be, or certainly that you had to buy from a dealership, let's say. I would tend to think that if you go to a Harley Davidson dealership, you might spend a little bit more than if you went to a general motorcycle seller as well. So we've got quite a few motorcycle sales, big warehouses over here in the UK. So I would tend to try and buy from there rather than a motorcycle dealership that only specializes in Harley Davidson. Possibly that's where you're going to get a better deal. Not necessarily, but I would tend to look there first. Would I buy a new one? Yeah, again, it really depends where I'm at in a couple of years' time. I certainly like the bikes, or some of the bikes, definitely. I made a video just recently, of course, about what my favorite Harley Davidson is right now. But yeah, well, I've definitely looked to buy another one if I was in the market for another Harley Davidson, that is. Now, are there other motorcycles out there that would attract me more right now? Well, yes, it really depends. Again, if I was going to sort of downsize in terms of size, or I wanted something a little bit more nippier, let's say, then I'll probably go to something like a Royal Enfield, something that's just going to be easy to ride, quickly get on and off, get into town, out again, that kind of thing. But for longer journeys, then I would definitely be looking at, and I'm a big fan of BMW, the RTs, especially. Well, the 1250, now they got the 1300. I would still lean towards the 1250 RT, and I made a video about that as well. But if it was going to be a Harley Davidson, yeah, then I don't think I would get another Sport Glide. In fact, it really depends if they're going to be selling them in certain markets. They've stopped selling them at all. Would it be something like a Heritage Softail, which I really like, is probably my favorite? Would it be something like a Road King special? Possibly. I mean, it's interesting that on that bike they haven't upgraded the engine to 117. Would they do it in future? That kind of thing. So I wonder if the writing's on the wall for that change to take place, or whether they're going to discontinue that bike. I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's interesting that I do hear more and more that people are wondering whether the touring lineup globally, this is not just the United States, but globally, whether the Tourers are the bikes of choice now, or whether it's the cruisers, the Softails that people really want to go for. But yeah, would I buy another one? Yeah, I definitely would. But I think I would still look at I would look at the value, and I would look at what this bike is, and I would look at the ones that really appeal to me. Now, it could be that I would just say I don't find any value in a brand new one. It'd have to be a used bike that I would see. And also, the problem is that there's a bit of uncertainty with the motor company as well. but not necessarily with a company, but certainly I'm finding with dealerships in the UK, or the ones nearer to me, they're closing down all the time. We've had quite a few dealerships close down. I think it's 10, maybe 12 in the last couple of years, all over the country. Maybe it's not that much, but it's certainly been a lot. Certainly the one down the road that I bought my Sport Glide from, that's all boarded up, that's all gone. There's one a little bit further away, that's gone as well. So the two nearest ones to me have closed down. So you think, well, what's going on? So they're not an easy bike for me to buy and certainly have service right now either, let's say, if I wouldn't want to go to a dealership, that is. So that would be a new bike I probably wouldn't lean towards. I'll probably go to a used bike or go to another manufacturer if I want the ease of having that bike serviced as a brand new bike and going to the dealership to ask questions and buy it from. So I'll probably look towards that right now. But in terms of would I buy another Harley Davidson? Yeah. I don't have anything against the brand. I think a lot of people think I'm negative or bashing the brand or anything. And to those people who think I'm bashing the brand or bashing the particular model or whatever it is, I think you just need to watch the videos a lot more and watch the videos in the entirety, because then you probably get a different point of view. And also, just because somebody like myself has a different point of view to you, that doesn't make me a hater, that doesn't make me a basher, that just makes me somebody who has a different point of view to you. So I would say, just because I don't always like what Harley Davidson does in terms of a company, in terms of their strategy, in terms of the way they have operated over the last few years under their CEO, yeah, that doesn't mean that I don't like the bikes. There's a lot, you could say this about any manufacturer. There's always problems with manufacturers and dealerships and new bike sales. Crikey, there's always somebody saying, oh, the Honda that I was sold is a complete load of trash, and that dealership should go out of business, and the Suzuki was rubbish, and the Triumph was rubbish. Every manufacturer has their naysayers, and every manufacturer has problem sales and problem bikes. And Harley Davidson is no different from that. But there are obviously other issues with Harley Davidson. Well, I've talked about this, mostly about image and price and change in demographics. And these are just factual, but also this is opinion as well. It's not necessarily always factual, and it's not always necessarily being a doom merchant either. It's more about just reading the situation and seeing what I like, what I don't like, and where I think there could be issues with it. Put that aside, the bikes I've always liked. And I've always liked riding the Harley Davidsons, or all the ones that I've test rode as well. But they're obviously the ones that I don't like, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I mean, I'm not one of these people who's going to say, just because it's Harley Davidson, I like every single thing that they do. Just because it's BMW, I like everything that they do. There are certain manufacturers who produce certain bikes which I like. There are other manufacturers that produce certain bikes which I like. Conversely, the same manufacturer produces complete dogs, and there are other manufacturers that produce complete dogs as well. So it's always been about the bike rather than the brand for me. And so I've never been brand loyal. It's about the bike. If I like the bike, I'll kind of think, well, I'm probably going to try and buy it if I can afford it, that is. And if I can't afford a brand new one, I'm going to be looking for a used bike. And Harley Davidson fits that mold 100%. There are lots of new bikes I think, wow, I'd really like it, but I'll probably go into the used bike market. But my only reservation about Harley Davidsons, and this is going off owning one for the last sort of 6-7 years or whatever it is that I'm not 100% sure the MA engines are... I feel sometimes I have to nurse the engine along and just be very particular about how I'm riding it and how I'm maintaining it. Whereas on another manufacturer, I feel that it's a little bit easier to ride, or a little bit easier to maintain, or a little bit easier just to rev it and just ride it a little bit harder, and it won't give out on me. I've had a few issues with my engines that have niggled me a little bit, and I think, well, these are just silly little things, and I wish the engine just wouldn't do that. And you know, if you're an M8 engine owner, if you're an M8 engine rider, of course, then you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. I've made videos about it as well in the past, and I think sometimes, do I want to continue to have those kinds of issues? Or, you know, I'll give you an example. I test rode a brand new Harley Davidson a couple of years ago, and a brand new motorcycle had the same issues that my Sport Glide was having at the same time. And you know, I took another bike out, and the steering was off, because the steering was completely off. I went back in and said, look, the steering's off here. You got a brand new bike, you're sending that as a demo bike, but the steering's off. You know, so there are things out there, and you think, well, build quality. You say, well, Harley Davidson, yeah, they've got great build quality, but sometimes you think, no, it's not that great. Or the engines, there's problems with the engines, and you think, oh, you know. So I think there's the great bikes, the M8 bikes, and there's great engines overall, but sometimes there's a little niggling doubt that I have with them, and that's where I'm at with them right now. If you're asking me, would I buy another Harley Davidson right now? If somebody gave me a load of cash, would I buy another Harley Davidson over any other brand? Well, it would be another brand right now. It wouldn't be a Harley Davidson. But in a year's time, couple of years' time, yeah, would I buy another one? I may do. It really depends how I feel at the time. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below about Harley Davidsons, and you know, would you continue buying another one, or is it you wash your hands of them, or would you only ever buy a used bike? You would never buy a brand new bike. That's pretty much where I'm at right now. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, keep on watching the videos, and don't forget you can go to the website RevelatorAlf.com/books for all the motorcycle books and other books that I produce as well. Right, and with that, I'm going to have some well, afternoon tea. Catch you again. Bye now.